What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. A massive, massive game tonight that we're doing a watch along for, of course. Bohemians taking on Shell. A couple of games going on in the league as well. Of course. I like him. Fantastic. Kick us off. Great way to start the evening. But yeah, Socko and our newest addition to the squad, Adzi, as well. How are we, lads?
They're good, not too bad, all good.
Not too.
Few connection issues, I think, is it? Kick us off, why not?
Yeah.
I just have the scores from the other games at the bottom of the screen there as well, so we'll be keeping an eye on them throughout the evening. But yeah, the teams are in, lads, as well, and we'll have a quick look. So obviously, first up, Bohemians, the home side, as strong as it gets really from them. James Talbot in goal, Rory Feely right back, Grant Horton, Kieran Kelly centre back, Tyreek Wilson left back, Dawson Devoy, Jordan Doherty in the double pivot, and Jordan Flores in front of them, and then the three up top: Ali Coote, Promise O'Mashare, and Chris Twardick. Really strong 11, and a couple of good options at the bench with the likes of Stephen Mallon and Liam Burt. It's a very strong side, isn't it?
Yeah, strong enough. Obviously, Promise back from suspension. Ali Coote, Dawson Devoy, always players to keep an eye on as well. And I thought, although they did lose 1-0, I thought James Talbot made a few really good saves against Rovers there on Friday night. So, like 2 Dublin derbies in 3 days, they'd be really wanting to get back to winning ways after that defeat to Rovers.
That's it. Of course, Shells as well. Not the most enthusiastic about this starting 11 now, to be honest. Missing a couple of big players in here. Obviously, Jack Moylan's still absent from the squad. Mark Coyle is absent as well. 2 huge losses to the team, and 2 of our probably best players so far this season. In goal, we've Lewis Webb, back 5 of Byrne, O'Driscoll, Ledwidge, Kane, Wilson, Thomas and Dervin looks like the new Zealand player. I thought he was a defender, but looks like he's playing in midfield alongside Dervin today. And then the front 3 of Shane Farrell, McManus and Carr. Sean Boyd dropped after scoring his first goal of the season as well. It's an interesting shout. So not the most enthusiastic about that side, I have to say.
No, you were saying Dan Carr, he hasn't really got going this season so far, no?
Not really, no. He hasn't looked great. We're just off here, by the way, in Dalymount Park. Just kicked off at Dalymount. But Dan Carr. I don't know if you can hear us, Adzi, but Dan Carr, obviously, you have good experience with him. We kind of touched on it briefly. He's gone there. We touched on Dan Carr kind of briefly on the live show last week, and yeah, he's a good option. He can offer you a lot, but just in terms of his goal scoring prowess, it's not brilliant.
Yeah. What minute of the game are you in now?
I'm it's stuck on 7 seconds for me.
It's
the timer, but it's in Talbot's hands now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think you were like 30 seconds ahead of me. Yeah, but that should be grand. But yeah, I don't know, like both sides obviously having like tricky enough starts to the season. Like Bows did get a good point there versus Dundalk, and that result against Pats as well. And Shells, obviously the newly promoted side coming up, like they'll be hoping to just stay up this season. I've had a few tough results so far. Beat Drogheda there, picked up another few points, but like there's so much pressure on Damien Duff this year. Like every result, if it was any other manager, like one of the lads was even saying, if they're doing poorly by the summer, there'll be many questions asked by Duff, where if it was anyone else, like there mightn't be as many questions or as much pressure, but everything he does and every result is just under the microscope so much more because it comes with the name.
No, exactly.
So like a win here on the Dublin Derby tonight, I feel between like the Dublin teams, like it feels like there's a Dublin Derby every week. Like, yeah. So which is the real Dublin Derby? I suppose. Adzi, is this the Dublin Derby? Is it?
The Shells it is.
Sure, Pats are playing UCD tonight. That's a Dublin derby.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, there's another Dublin derby.
South Dublin derby.
And I think this is the North Dublin derby, isn't it? But like, I think like historically, the biggest Dublin derby hasn't been Bows and Rovers. I don't think.
It's
Like,
it's Rovers Shells. That's the
Rovers
derby.
Shells would usually be historically to be the biggest one, but it's only the last couple of years, and Bows kind of being in the top flight and Shells kind of dropping out and stuff like that, and having their financial troubles, that it's kind of become the Dublin derby. But I think historically it was always Rovers and Shells.
Well,
were the
think
two
about it. It was they
biggest
were
teams in the country.
both founded on the same road in Ringsend. You know,
Yeah.
the same road, and like obviously then there's the north and south side divide and everything, which always kind of splits everything. And then even the likes of Drumcondra and stuff in the league, there was a big rivalry between Shells and Drumcondra, but it was always Shells and Rovers, all links back to the Ringsend thing. At least like I go to the games with my granddad all the time, and that's at least what he says. You have to remember, Bows were an amateur club back in, the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. They took their time becoming a professional outlet, and they weren't really looked at as our rivals only up until maybe the 90s and early 2000s. That's when it really started kicking on between us. But
Why did it
Shells
kick on
dropping out of the
between
league
us?
definitely helped that as well. I'd say.
Yeah, what was
What's
the
it?
what was the turn
Shells
between?
getting relegated and stuff
It
definitely
was
helped.
absolutely, that was it. I'm only a Rovers fan now since 2008, so like I don't really know the actual sort of switch and all of that. But if I were to hazard a guess, or
Penalty claims? No.
if I were to hazard
Sorry.
a guess, and it would be something along the lines of that. I said if Shells hadn't gone under and like they did in 06, I reckon first of all they wouldn't have been up and down in the first division constantly and been down as long as they were. And also, I think that it would have been a much bigger game, especially now with the way the league's gone. I think it still will be, when we eventually play Shells, it will be a cracker game. So
100%. Especially the whole Duff thing adds a whole new dimension to it as well. See Duff having his links to Rovers as well. Just a goal update for you, lads. Derry City take the lead against Drogheda, 1-0 to Derry.
Jeez, that's another early goal conceded for Drogheda. I was at
Drogheda in trouble this year, I think.
I was at Drogheda Sligo on Friday night, and they went 3-0 down within the opening half an hour.
That finished 3-0, didn't it?
Yeah, finished 3-0. George
cracker third goal as well.
Oh yeah, definitely watch on Twitter if you didn't get a chance.
Scream!
I think it was Will Fitzgerald, if I'm not wrong. Off his left, outside the box in the top corner, class goal. But it could have been 5 or 6, like if Sligo were really ruthless. But yeah, worry for Drogheda this year. Like Georgie Poynton missed a second half penalty to get a goal back, and it was a long second half for them after that. Couldn't break down. Like it wasn't Sligo. Sligo were good, but it was just more like Drogheda just been so poor. Did not start well at all. Simple mistakes in midfield. And yeah, you'd worry for them this year. Like for the teams you're looking at like UCD, Harps, Drogheda maybe, and then Shells.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to know. But Drogheda definitely kind of not a great start so far.
Yeah. I'd like to think Shells can avoid, because we kind of touched on it before, how it could become like a little mini league. If those 4 teams in the bottom, you're obviously UCD, Harps, Drogheda, Shells, and I'm hoping that Shells can kind of finish like a comfortable 7th this season, not be kind of dragged into it in the latter stages of the campaign. But the whole, I think the whole factor of, I think hopefully we'll have a bit of investment there in the summer, hopefully to add a couple of players in, and that could be crucial.
If Duff wasn't the manager of Shells, and say I don't know, Shells finished 8th, like 7th or 8th, is that a success? Or now since Duff is the manager of them, will that be more looked on as a failure?
I think 7th. I think Duff has always said he's maintained that a good season is staying in the division. Coming up from the first division, it is a huge step up, and the fact he kind of rebuilt the whole squad himself, I think it is a case of just if you can avoid those playoff places and kind of just steady the ship a little bit for the first year or two, and then kind of grow year on year from there. Because that was always a problem.
Leon. Oh, knock at the post. Fuck.
Jamie McGonigal with the goal for Derry, by the way. He's an absolute really good set to the season for him. I think that's his 3rd or 4th goal. But yeah, no, I think the whole Duff thing is interesting. Like it does add that, as you said, kind of under the microscope of every little thing he does and says is always going to be analysed. But no, I think he said that I think we stay up this season because it has been that case of the kind of that yo-yo club, that label or whatever you want to say, for the last couple of years. And thinks the case is just avoiding that and just steadying the ship in the Premier Division and then growing year on year from there. Because I think a lot of players coming to the League of Ireland, Damien Duff ringing your phone, like it's a huge factor, and players will want to come and play for Duff, I think.
100%.
Yeah,
Who hit the post there,
I can't remember. I didn't see who the player was. I don't know if it was Hoban, but the dog did. Basically, a ball came in from the box. A bit of confusion from Pauls, the goalkeeper, and Hoare. I don't know. There must have been a shout or anything, but then Pauls completely missed it, and the ball fell, and he just swung in there and it hit the outside of the post.
What's his? I know we're doing the both shells watch along, but the big news from Rovers Dundalk this evening is Alan Manus not included. He might be injured. We don't know yet. What's the story with Leon Pauls, Adam? Where did he sign from? And he's been the substitute keeper for two or three seasons now, has he?
Paul signed from some sort of sporting academy in Germany, kind of similar to the Nike Academy that the likes of Tom Rogic and stuff has come from Celtic. And he seems to love being involved and so on, and he's always, by all accounts, all the lads seem to love him and so on. But they, I don't see him as a starter anyway, because he started a few games for us now, even towards the end of last season after the game was won, and he's starting tonight, and he's very ropey like that. He's quite ropey. There's a few goals given away, and I'm not sure about him now. He has bought into the club, all right, and he really, he's always, in fairness to him, he's always handing bottles of water and jackets to the lads and whatnot when they're coming off the bench. he doesn't have much to do, in fairness, other than that. But
he does it very well.
Yeah. They all love him, apparently. So
he's a good lad,
good effort there.
Apparently, they all adore him, which apparently is good crack. So he's only young as well. He's only 23. Too.
Is he? Yeah. Good potential there, but yeah.
We need to make a move for McGinty.
That's the one, isn't it? That's the one. I think that's the keeper Rovers need.
McGinty
makes sense.
Quality. He's savage. He kind of reminds me of a better Michal Stiggerman a couple of years ago. So remember there was a stage there he was white hot. Super. And he was playing for. Who was he playing for? Drogheda, wasn't it?
Drogheda. I think he did the rounds at a few clubs, I think, but yeah, Drogheda was the main one, I think, wasn't it?
And now he's in Athlone, I think, and there's kind of some essence of that he has the potential to be good, but I'd rather get him early. I'd rather get him now than have him float around maybe another year at Sligo.
I think he has the potential to go abroad as well, potentially as well. He's very good goalkeeper.
I know we should have snapped him up last season.
I think this was the year to go for this season.
I think this is, since it's probably Manus's last year as Rovers goalkeeper before he retires, and Bradley probably was like, you know what, I don't want them to retire just yet. If McGinty had to come in, the Manus may have been like, you know what,
I'll leave it there.
Because I'm not going to get as much game time. I'd hope that I would have liked to hope that Manus has that maturity, be like, look, I know I have to manage my games a lot more now and so on. Yeah. And help obviously play some games, maybe the cup games, but ultimately nurture McGinty through and kind of show him, how would you say, the Rovers way or whatever you want to call it, or just give him a helping hand.
It kind of reminds me of when Courtois signed for Chelsea. I think it was 2014 or 15. There's that awkward year or two when your experienced keeper might have a year or two left in him, but there's a really promising keeper coming up. So it has to be. You could see him coming in next Christmas maybe. And God, if Manus's injury troubles kind of continue based off tonight, please God they won't. But Bradley might be looking at McGinty in the summer.
Joe, it could have been a case.
It
could have been a case of looking at it. McGinty might have a year left in his deal. They might have had to have paid $100,000 from this winter, whereas next winter they only have to get him for free, and maybe they think Manus has that year left in him. that they could get kind of from a financial point of view. Maybe they've looked at it from that perspective.
Yeah, of course.
Mm.
It'd be the only thing that makes sense. But at this stage, Rovers have gotten to them to the stage where they can buy players for that money.
No,
Now,
absolutely.
I think the wage bill with Rovers this year probably is kind of slow that down and whatnot.
Looking at their bench, you'd have to imagine the wages is not an issue, but it's a high wage.
Oh, it's completely an issue. It's mental. So it is. But look, however, we'll wait till next year if we can get him or not.
Yeah.
But hopefully, Mans is grand. Like that, I don't like the disrespect he gets as well is ridiculous. Especially after the shit show Talbot had on Friday night. It was brilliant.
What did you make of the game on Friday night?
Terrible game.
Yeah.
terrible game. No, it didn't help.
It's not about the performance really, is it, in those matches?
No, not really. The performance is only a bonus, but you want to get a win over your rivals. No, it probably didn't help that I was stuck in my room with bleeding COVID, but but it was a bad game. Even like my dad, granddad, and stuff were telling me about it, saying like it wasn't really the best game. It was kind of similar to the Pats in regard that we started off the first half very well. Could have been 2-3, maybe 4-0 up in the first half, and then second half we just tapered off. But Bows didn't look like scoring at all. They had one chance from Chris Twarder. That's about it. But that's it. So it was. But I absolutely will take the result. It was fairly comfortable in the end, you know.
Definitely. Goal update, lads. Sligo take the lead against Finn Harps. Sligo in cracking form, aren't they? Like they're top of that, puts on top of the league with 11 points in 5 games now.
Yeah.
If they win, I don't know. Like I feel like Sligo do peter out towards the mid of the season. They kind of go on a bad run at some stage. Like they have that in them, but starting the season very well.
Yeah, I think it's them and Derry at the moment that are the only unbeaten sides after 5 games. Well, I think 4 for Sligo because their first game was postponed. But I was talking to Liam Buckley after the Drogheda win on Friday, and I asked him, he's ahead of expectations. Have you exceeded expectations in the first few weeks of the season? They made a lot of new signings, obviously replacing I think Mahon and the likes of Johnny Kenny too.
Aidan Keena scored, by the way.
Aidan Keena, he was absolutely brilliant against Pats. I think Sligo won 2-1 2 weeks ago. He scored the second. He was absolutely fantastic. Buckley said, he was really happy with the squad. He's a good group. Rotation, he said, this year will be key. There's a few players with a few niggles still kind of early on in the season. But he said he was happy with how they're going, and how could you not be being unbeaten so far. So I've seen them twice live this season, and they've been excellent. Really, really well drilled, well disciplined, and early on in the season, people were talking about obviously Rovers champions, Derry with the money coming in, the new kind of O'Donnell era at Sligo. No one really mentioned. Sorry, I had to talk. No one really mentioned Sligo. So they could be dark horses come the end of the season.
I definitely underestimated them at the start of the campaign in terms of my season predictions and stuff. Definitely, the way it's looking anyway, definitely underestimated them 100%. Shell setting into the game, not too bad. It's been kind of even enough.
It's a full house there tonight, is it?
It is indeed, yeah.
Ali Coote, I think about 8 or 9 minutes in with the only real chance so far. Cracking shot from like 25 yards and kind of comfortable enough save.
Reminded me of the shot against, was it Pauk? Do you remember the guy who scored out there? The keeper, kind of similar to that.
Keeper made a hames of that.
Oh, shocking.
I remember that. Both teams still kind of settling into this, but obviously class to see the full house at Dalymount, and it's the first. It's the latest in a good few we've seen so far in the League of Ireland, and not only the Premier Division, but like.
Did you see that? Yeah, I was going to say the attendance with Cork,
5,000. Cork bringing in 5,000 on 2 occasions in the past few weeks, like savage stuff.
That's class, especially for Cork, considering they're down in the first division, and I think a lot of people feared that they wouldn't be back for a while, considering the manner in which they went down the last time. But you have to fair play to them. They have always had a cracking support down there for both teams, for both Cork and Cork.
Back soon, surely as well, you'd imagine.
Someone's got to come in and invest as well, you know.
Yeah.
Just not make not make not make a balls of it like they did after Brian Lennox. You know,
Did you see it? I'm not sure if it's popped up yet. Sock with a bit of shithousery from Dan Kerr, grabbing onto the ball. Tyre Wilson's trying to grab it off him. Love to see that.
Brilliant. Bit of handbags.
Dan Carr's a bit of history against them actually, against Bows.
He has
A
a
bit of a
goal,
wind up. Yeah, I think he has a goal or two against them. I think he did the backflip celebration against them as well, right in front of the fans when we played them in Tala.
I love that.
Rovers with the front three of Burke, Manju, and Byrne tonight as well. Actually,
Is it? Yeah, no Gaffney.
yeah.
Byrne
No,
and
Gaffney.
Byrne in the front three.
Oh yeah, well, like that sort of way they play.
Yeah,
He's off to the right of that, isn't he? Usually,
Yeah,
off to the right front three.
But at the same
Who's
time,
who's
Gaffney again had a good game on the weekend.
He's got the goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he got the goal, but he also caused them absolute havoc.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because you were kind of mentioning it actually on the show there last week, Adam Adzi, about kind of going without Gaffney and playing Burke and Mandrew and Byrne as the front three, and it's kind of would have liked to have seen it, but at the same time, kind of Gaffney gives that kind of focal point to the attack, and he gives it an option to kind of maybe play that kind of target man role, and gives you an option to go long if needed and stuff at times. So definitely is a good asset to have.
Absolutely, he always. I think I mentioned it last week. He always just runs you ragged, and he's always, doing the dirty work. He's always shoulder to shoulder against the defender. He's not making it easy. I'm sure he's doing other things like standing on their toes and whatnot. Just being just being a right annoyance to play against and so on. But no, I think he'll probably feel very disappointed that he's not in the starting 11 today. And so on. Well, that just goes to show the squad again, but he was just getting after the two Bow centre halves the other line. I think it got to one stage the Bow centre halves didn't even want to be near him. He was just causing so much havoc and just so much trouble that it wasn't really worth their while nearly challenging him, because he was getting the better of the two of them in all the battles he had with them. So disappointed he's probably not starting tonight based off that performance, all right, but it'd be interesting to see now what the three lads do up top.
Is that Graham Birch in the middle then, is it?
It looked on the team sheet Rovers put out.
Probably all moving around.
But probably I think someone's out there dropping deep there anyway, I think so.
There was a little bit of talk. Burke wasn't happy, wasn't getting his game like back in the last season and early on this season. Were people making too much of that, or is there some truth in that?
Oh no, he clearly isn't happy. Sure, when he scored against, who was it? Drogheda. He pointed over to the bench or something and pointed at himself, and then Ronan Flynn came up. Ronan Flynn came up, and then you could see he was kind of having a bit of a word with him, and Berkey was kind of like walking away, where Finner actually had to grab him. Of course, I'm only assuming that's the case, but it didn't look.
Doesn't look good.
It didn't look good at all. No.
No.
But I think based off what I've seen, it's evident enough that he wasn't really happy with how it turned out to be for him. But look, he was class the other night for us against Bows. There was everyone was talking about the flick Stephen Mallon got over Gary O'Neill and so on, which doesn't get you 3 points, by the way.
Brilliant.
But Burke did a lovely piece of skill between three Bows players and so on, and he just goes to show it that the quality he has. Like he's such a good player. He never loses the ball. He's class.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a top player, and it's crazy to think a League of Ireland side can afford to drop a player like Graham Burke, because it just shows the depth of the squad, I suppose. Quickly look at the comments here. Keith says, from Irish Footy Vlogs, should be at this one, unfortunately got COVID. Hope you're all good, Keith. Sorry to hear that. His prediction 2-1 Bows. Shells winning 1-0, hopefully. That's the plan. Yeah. Jake says, can you put match on, please? Trying to watch, friend.
Nope. There's a little thing called copyright, man.
Yeah. Hopefully Shells win. Dead right. And then Des says wasn't expecting Sligo to have a good start to the season after losing Mahon and Kenny, along with that dreadful run in the middle to end of last year. Yeah, no, I would have been of a similar mindset as well coming into the campaign, but just shows you. But maybe the issue is the likes of your Greg Bolgers, as the season goes on, they get kind of a bit leggy, and at that age now where it's a tough. So we'll see how they get on as the season progresses, I suppose.
Are Sligo full time?
Sligo are full time, I think, as far as I know. Yeah. I had no idea Dan Kerr was back in the league. He was great for Shamrock Rovers. I think great's a bit of a stretch. Great might be a stretch.
That's a massive stretch. He had a performance in him.
But do you remember he left Shamrock Rovers because he played against Apollon Limassol in the Europa League?
Limassol, yeah.
And they were so impressed that they signed him.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like
Ronaldo,
he didn't score.
Like Ronaldo in 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a bit of a stretch, if anything else, to be honest.
I think he got a good deal out of that, though, and all in Greece. Like, he got a decent deal.
Yeah, when you're in
Cyprus,
when you're in Cyprus getting the weather, and he was probably getting a bit of cash as well, that anything's a good deal there. I'm sure Jack Byrne knows a thing or two.
He had a lovely number. He had a lovely number over there.
Yeah. Handy gig.
Carr was good. Handy gig. Carr was good.
No, he was. He was.
In terms of before, he'd like that again. I love using this term, but again, would run you ragged and so on. And he was a bit of an athlete and he'd get up, challenging the air and so on. But he lacked a goal in them at all times. He wasn't really a threat on goal.
Push out to the left at times and stuff, wasn't he?
He'd get himself into good positions, but he wasn't really. He couldn't really score. If you get anyone that could shoot, say if Berkey, for example, had his sort of athletic prowess that Carr had, Berkey would be scoring 30, 40 goals a season. Dan Carr was just so good at getting himself into those positions and working, but he just couldn't finish at all. I don't know what was wrong with him.
He reminds me of a little bit of a Danny Welbeck type, kind of a really good forward, but maybe not the most prolific, and then kind of gets pushed out wide as a result, because obviously that Danny Welbeck getting pushed out to the left at times. That kind of player, that kind of striker, I think. Won't score you that many a season, but definitely will cause problems and definitely put himself about.
Richie Towell in here. Oh, what a save!
Richie Towell starting, is he?
Yeah, Richie Towell in. It was actually a great run from this. Ball came in from the right, Towell came in from behind.
This is all club, actually.
Yeah, hit it first time. I think the goalkeeper got a touch. It was a great save, and it just went right.
Who's in there? Sorry, that's far away.
You were saying Jack Byrne was playing front three. I watched him versus Pats, and he was playing almost kind of in double six. I thought he does drop deep.
He drops like that now.
It's more loose.
It's what he tends to do. It is what it is, but
it's kind of a free roll.
Yeah, I just go off basically what I see on the team sheet that Rovers put out.
It's usually the double pivot of O'Neill and Watts is the usual pairing, isn't it? And then you'd have Byrne, Mandrew, and
if Jack has to come in if we're really struggling, he'll come in.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Who's Towell in there beside tonight? Is it O'Neill or Watts? O'Neill, I presume.
Yeah. You
Watts
can't take O'Neill out of the team. He's Mr. Consistent. He's just
very underrated, I think, actually, because you never really hear much about him. But he's always
very underrated. I think our last record with O'Neill starting or in the team at all is very, very low. I think there was a stage there. He came in that summer for Rovers. I think for every game we started, he only lost one. I think it was to Dundalk. Actually, Dundalk away the night they won the league in 2019, and he only lost. I think his second loss after that was around April 2021. That was when we lost the next time. We went on that mad unbeaten run as well.
Yes, yeah.
So his record starting for us is ridiculous.
He's a top player, because even a player that I always forget he's even signed, but I know from him playing at Wigan that top class Chris McCann, he's didn't even get a look in, and I'd say his wages
he's injured at the moment as well. I think he's only come back from an injury. But in fairness to Chris, I wasn't too sure about him at the start of his tenure with us, but as the season went on, he put in some massive performances. I remember against Bows, we had 10 men, and he came on in the second half and just completely dominated the midfield, just got passes strung together, moved forward. Nothing
Probably
really
classy
went past
player,
him.
like.
Yeah, I wasn't really too sure of like what sort of player he was. I just thought he was a similar to Gary O'Neill. Probably was just probably a little bit better on the ball, but he's quite good. He can get forward as well, and
he's versatile too. He can play at the back and stuff as well. I think it's not from his time at Wigan. I remember he could play left back and centre half and midfield, and he go forward. Like he's very versatile. Like
I'm surprised he stayed on for another year. But after the end of the season, how he got on for us, he did. You know, I can't really blame the lads for keeping him on.
Yeah. How long of a contract did Jack Byrne sign? Was it a 2-year deal? Was it?
Jeez, I'm not sure myself now. I'd say it's 2 years.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
I'd say it's about 2 years, 3 years.
I remember they were very public about that Tell one, that it was 3 last year when they signed them, and then I think
3.5. I think
it was a 3.5, something like that. And I don't think Jack's one wasn't as public, so I don't think
Tell. I remember Tell scored a screamer. I think it was against Slovan, but other than that, has he got going yet? Fuse?
No. If to be honest, if we could have waived a player or whatever, it'd be him. Yeah. I just don't think he's been a good fit for us at all.
He's kind of he's in that mid section where you don't know whether to put him in that front 3 or that kind of 2 behind. Like he's kind of that in between, nearly, isn't he? I don't know.
He can play like anywhere in that. In fairness, but I don't think his ability has kind of shown. There's better players that we have on that team, like Chris McCann. I'd rather Chris McCann, a healthy Chris McCann, ahead of Richie Tell, and Chris McCann's a good bit older. You have to remember, Richie Tell's still young. He's only 30.
Johnny is 30. Yeah. He says like he should be in his prime, kind of thing. Like,
anyway, like he did well out of his career in England, but then he came home because they were giving him a good deal and
great deal. Yeah, it was a great deal. He got out of it. In fairness,
I think he was originally going to go back to Dundalk.
I think he would have gone to Dundalk realistically if it wasn't for the deal that Roberts put in place, because it was a very, very nice cushy package. Like,
I think Dundalk matched the wages, but
but just the contract, the years even. So
what a say, Paul. Yeah, they only offered a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Which is, in fairness, it is a bit outrageous, especially because it's not like he doesn't have quality. I think he'd be better suited for Dundalk.
Possibly, yeah.
Based on his
the way Dundalk were at the time, though, you can imagine him being a nightmare there like the way it was last season. Like, probably would have been a disaster.
If he was available now for them, then
Great biceps, though.
Great pair of biceps, yeah.
Great. Have you seen his abs?
Great in his teeth as well.
What have you been looking at?
I appreciate a good body when I see one. That's all I'm saying. Did you see the photo Rose released a couple of weeks ago when we released the new home kit? It was Richie Tell, Jacko, and Mandrew. I think Lee Grace in it as well.
Lee Grace, it's so funny.
Every caption was like, "This is your advertising for turkey teeth and so on." She had all the straight teeth. I'm like, Jesus.
I think Lee Grace was the only one who didn't have veneers in the photo or something.
Great teeth, though, in fairness.
Oh no, nice pair of gnashers. In fairness to him, yeah, absolutely.
Half an hour. Was that kind of overhead kick you said?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Half chance.
Massive season for him this year. Like I think I said in my Bows season preview.
Turn up the line for them, Doc.
Wow.
Ball came in from a corner, headed back. Rovers cleared.
St. Pat's take the lead against UCD, lads.
How to be expected. But just
come on.
Just by promise, like Georgia Kelly leaving such a big void there. If promise doesn't get going now, like in the next few weeks, like Bows could struggle for European place because the competition is just too much. Like I think Georgie Kelly finished on like 21, 22 league goals last year. So like where else are the goals going to come from if kind of Promise doesn't fill that gap?
Is Promise playing tonight?
Yeah,
He is. Yeah,
he was suspended against Rovers.
Yeah.
Did you? If anyone saw that, I think it was the second yellow card. By the way, it was absolutely outrageous. Like
shocking decision.
the decision.
No, he's in fairness to him, he's looked good so far this season. In fairness to him, now, but
he's
it's
only
just
like 19, isn't he?
Jesus. Yeah, 2021, I think. Yeah, something like
21.
that.
Okay.
Dodgy clearance from Lewis Webb here, and Bowes on the attack. Fuck's sake.
Has he been really dodgy, the goalkeeper for Shells?
I haven't been mad at him at all now. It doesn't inspire confidence, but it's especially frustrating when you've got corner for Bowes. When you've got Brendan Clark sitting on the bench as well, it doesn't make too much sense. I know it probably is a psychological thing and sticking with your keeper through kind of tough periods and stuff as well, and obviously Duff backs him. Duff backs him to do it, but
God, just saw that keeper or the clearance by the keeper there. God, dodgy.
Yeah. Where did he come from?
I think he's on loan from Swansea. I think, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, he would have to have a bit of a backing.
And
how old is Brendan Clark as well? Because he's no spring chicken either.
Jesus, decent chance for Bowes there. I think is he mid-30s maybe, kind of that kind of area, I would imagine. Like he still has, I'd say he still has a couple of years after him. Like.
The dog kept that keeper. I think Nathan Shepherd on loan from Brentford too. So
Brentford, yeah.
And you have Joseph Anang on loan from West Ham, I think it is, Pat. So yeah, good few young keepers on loan from England.
He's a dodgy kick on him though, your man.
Yeah, man, every time I've seen Pat this season, he's had one or two scares. He's a really good shot stopper. Good save there from the Shells keeper.
He's good in the air and shot stopping.
Good in the air, but kicks, yeah.
It takes a while to get into it.
Yeah, but Pat's after bringing in your man Adamasu as well, so
yeah, you'd imagine competition. You'd imagine he'd come in seeing his quality for Drogheda last year. Adam, you were at that game. You were behind Anang in the first half. You were giving him
he got so much stick.
All sorts.
Yeah.
The best thing about it was they were giving him stick at the start, and he was kind of smiling and wanting to have a laugh about it, which I do too. Like you have to. But then he messed up the first kick, and then there was no smiles from then on, like because they were just giving him death, and he couldn't. He just couldn't get his kick outs going, even the ones out of the hands. He's not even a punt or the side step or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, there's a few of the playing all, wasn't there, and everything.
There was a lot. They kept drifting to the left. Now we got better in the second half, but it was
so funny.
It was quite terrifying. I say it's terrifying in that situation because, especially in League of Ireland and especially in a ground like Pat's, you're so close to the fans.
Yeah.
You're going to hear everything they say and so on. Like, I don't know if you ever watched that. Remember the Bowes Rovers Copper 90 video they did a few years ago?
Yes, yeah.
They had lads talk about it from like Pogba goal and stuff, and they were talking about that. They were talking about what it means to be a League of Ireland player and what you have to deal with. And, you say something to a player, no matter regardless of what it is, they'll hear you specifically, but they'll also look over at you specifically, and they hear everything you say and whatnot, especially being on top of you like that. It's, I say it's not the friendliest of atmospheres to be in.
Yeah,
it's definitely worthwhile experience though, like in terms of for English teams sending over chance for Bowes here. Clear. Sorry, Jesus, bit dodgy from Shells. A few bad passes. But yeah, looking at even for Yaros coming over from Liverpool, I think it's going to be a prominent destination for a lot of goalkeepers in particular. Because just in terms of reserve games, you don't feel that atmosphere. But League of Ireland, it really does get you ready for the men's game. Decent.
Yeah, you're coming into, especially now because the football here has gotten so much better, and teams are playing like much better football. Like they are playing like, say, teams in the Premier League or good attractive football teams in all the top leagues do. Like they're playing like that, and they're basing their games off that now. And plus, you have that added thing of you're right on top of the fans. A lot of time the atmosphere is toxic, so you're gonna obviously. You're going to improve your game, but also you're going to improve your mental fortitude and everything to do with that side of the game, and especially dealing with like those sort of supporters and whatnot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's a tricky one as well in terms of like, do you want kind of loan players coming from England, or like do you want to find that balance between having these players coming over and bringing through your own players as well and giving your own goalkeepers a chance and stuff like that? So it's kind of it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah,
If
I
you're stuck,
remember Yaros last year. Like he was absolutely superb. Won goalkeeper of the season in the league last year, and
it was not Talbot.
no, it was Yaros.
Because everyone's going mad about Talbot,
Yeah.
how we should have won it, but he
Yeah,
also conceded 50 goals.
and made and made a few superb saves in the cup final last year. So yeah, we might see a little bit more of. Like that's 3 keepers on loan in the league from English clubs. So
Yeah.
But then, as
I'd
you
say
said, Ross, what?
A lot of English clubs would have saw that success and then encouraged that and like looked at that afterwards as destination. Like,
Yeah, Yaris was very good.
I think Yaros is he in League 1 or League 2 now, or is that, am I imagining that? He got to move anyway, I think.
Is it alone
Yeah.
again, or?
I think it's alone again, yeah.
Well, that's great for him because, like especially if you're coming from the League of Ireland, you're getting that, and now you're, going to the likes of League 1 and League 2. So personally, it is great for him, and he might not ever play for Liverpool or whatever, considering you have obviously Allison, but then Queevy and so on. He might not play, but for himself getting that experience, like it's priceless,
Yeah,
great
no,
for him.
100%.
I was going to say there
free kick for Shells, decent position.
With the stuff the players can hear, like I started kind of working at League of Ireland games this time last year, so there was no crowds and with COVID and stuff, and you could hear everything the players were saying to each other, everything the managers saying to each other, and especially, and even in Tala, like you're kind of close enough to the pitch, and because there was no crowd, it was so easy to hear the players, and I thought that was because there was no crowd, and when the crowds came back, like it made a little bit of a difference. Like you could still hear, even on top of the noise, because you're so close to the players, you could still hear a lot of what the players are saying, a lot of what the managers were saying. So it's that like closeness and kind of genuine. I don't know. Going to the League of Ireland games just feels a lot more authentic because like you might be 5 seats away from like the subs bench, or like there might be a 2-foot wall separating you and the manager. So I think a lot of people enjoy that as well. But it's always really funny when a manager is like, I lost count the amount of times Stephen O'Donnell got sent off at Patson last year.
Yeah.
Like, when you can hear the managers raging at each other, and I'm sure we might see 1 or 2 times like Duff being sent off this year.
See, Yaros got loaned out to the 5th division of English this season.
5th division.
That's a bit much now.
That's
not. Is that right? You're better off going to the League of Ireland again if that's the case.
Sure, League of Ireland's on par with League 1, League 2, isn't it?
So I'd say the likes of Rovers and I think would easily compete in League 1. Pats even maybe, and the likes. But then I'd say UCD and stuff is like kind of division, League 2 and conference, top end of conference probably.
Yeah, fair. If you want to be challenging, then it's absolutely. It's only about 3, 4, maybe 5 teams that are good enough for that sort of level. Yeah,
exactly. But look at the League of Ireland now; it's become a lot more competitive. That I think it is growing, and then you're looking at like the Cork come back into the league and stuff as well, who will definitely get a good squad. So it's gonna be like it's a tough, difficult league, the League of Ireland. Like Derry, Rovers, Sligo now, the Pats. Like there's a lot of very, very good sides, and I think they're all kind of League 1-ish level. Like,
kind of. Sorry, side note. The LOI TV stream here has stopped on 40 minutes. So instead of like 45 minutes, which I thought was funny. But and like, not to kind of go on about it again, but we can see how quick like teams' fortunes can change. I know Shamrock Rovers are really well run now, but you had Dundalk winning I think 4 league titles in 5 years there, under Stephen Kenny and Vinnie Perth, and then the kind of almost circus that happened like last year with Giovanni and the sackings, and things weren't right there at all. And they're on their rebuild now, and you had Cork City winning it not too long ago, and now, and for a lot of last season being the bottom end of the first division. So we can see teams' fortunes change so quickly.
Yeah.
I think it is becoming a lot really competitive now, and like I've only been like involved, I suppose, the last kind of 2.5 years in the league, going to games and working with yourselves. But people have been talking to games early on this season have all been saying there hasn't been such a excitement around the league as like this new league. When it started up 3 or 4 weeks ago, we've seen so many full attendances. 3 or 4 teams that could be good enough to win the league. 2 or 3 that could well push Rovers. And adding on to that, the FAI Cup final ticket record last November. So hopefully things are going in the right way. And I don't know, with the FAI's new strategic plan for 2025, we can just see improvement across the board in facilities, standard of football, and coaching and academies. So it is going in the right direction. It's exciting, and yeah, I just kind of wish more people.
I know lads that are just buying season tickets now for random clubs. Just buying the season ticket for a sake. Yeah, like 2 lads I know that I play football with. They just said they went to the cup final last year, and they have a mate that's a Pats fan that hadn't been in there in years or whatever. But they all just said, "Look, we get Pats season tickets."
Yeah,
and
fair play,
sure enough, they got them, and they've been going to all the games. They're trying to make connections, to go on the buses for away days and so on, and make friends within the club. And like I only encourage it, and it's great. You have a bit of a laugh at all of them and whatnot, and it's a bit of crack, having a bit of banter with them and training and whatnot. But I absolutely encourage it. I encourage anyone to go.
I've said to you a few times, Adam, like I'm really jealous of the like family connection and the genuine connection you have with Rovers, like going with your
yeah, but you're a Bows fan, so I don't really care.
I'm Shells now. I'm Shells now, man. Shells now.
Ross, you should have heard this fella in college.
Hadn't a breeze.
He hadn't a breeze, and he was just talking about Bows the whole time. Like, you see him there. You see him there buying the refugees welcome jersey and whatnot, and saying, and even the Fontaine's quote that they
that
had.
Was just for the likes, man. That was just for the likes.
Well, yeah, you're like Bows. You're doing it just for the publicity and all that. You're like them. Stick with them.
I was trying to make a really nice comment about you there, but I'll forget it now.
But just a quick one.
No. Go on, Ross.
Just in the stroke of half time here, Tyreek Wilson free kick just outside the box, a very, very dangerous position. Ali Coots over it as well, but you'd imagine Tyreek Wilson will fancy this. Aidan Keane has scored again, by the way. Sligo.
Did he shave his hair?
Tyreek? I think he's always had it that way.
No.
Hit the wall, cleared. But Tyreek Wilson has a good free kick on him, in fairness to him then. Have to say that.
Type of Rovers anyway.
He's got a bald head now on him as well.
Do you take a point at Oriel, Adzi?
With the way Dundalk have been playing, it would probably be a fair result, to be honest with you, because it's again like that tough place to go and so on. Especially on a Monday night, I'd say it's not a nice place to go up to on a Monday night at all or anything. But I don't know. I think we're in a situation now at the moment where we kind of nearly need to get another few wins under our belt and so on. So we've probably got them at we've probably got them at a bad time in terms of we need to get a run of wins together. Whereas if there was other teams to play against fewer weaker sides, you'd obviously be expecting to win. But I don't know. I'd be disappointed if we didn't get a win here, to be honest. I'd like a win here, to be honest. If it was just a random game, just in the middle of a run, I'd be like, look, I'll take a draw, but let's see how we get on anyway.
half time at Dalymount anyway. Bohemians 0, Shelbourne 0, and I'll be more than happy for it to stay that way. To be honest, a saying the UGA used to a few years ago for their promotions, nothing beats being there. It could be used in an LOI context too. Absolutely,
They
100%
tried doing
agree.
it. The FBI tried doing a bit of a campaign back in 2009. It was real football, real fans, and so on. But it never really got going. Now, granted, it was under the John Delaney regime, which
Yeah,
didn't really care about the league, so to say. And
One of the best
yeah, like they
ads I've ever seen. And sorry, Adam, close your ears. But Bose, they played a lot at the Aviva last year, and it must have been on TV at some stage. But you had dad saying to the kid, "Oh, come on, the game is on, the game is on," and then they
that's a
watched
great one.
game on the telly, and then the next scene is like, "Oh, come on, the game is on, the game is on," and then they go down to Dalymount. I thought it was really cool.
That is a good one, in fairness.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully people just start going to more games. We've even seen like people around where we live, and Griff's younger brother. There's a good crew of them going to Pats now, week in, week out. I try like this season, try to get to the odd game as a fan, like instead of like working. And then like you've Ross with Shells and Liam working away in the league as well now with Longford too. And I just encourage everyone to, because every time I enjoy myself at a game or I'm working, just my first thought is, why didn't I not even work and just going to games? Why didn't I do this 10 years ago? And like it's a combination of different things.
But you're doing it now, though.
Yeah, I know. But I've said to Adam a good few times.
never too late.
I've said to Adam a good few times, I'm jealous of the family connection he had going since 2008. Him and his family and his granddad, especially, huge Rovers fans. And I suppose I did have that for 2 years with Sporting Fingal, but that's a different story. But I just wish someone tapped me on the shoulder in like when I was 14 and said, "Oh, come on down to Shells or Bose or whatever." But I'm just happy I'm kind of in it now.
But even just going to games, I remember, like I wasn't on my first League of Ireland game was 2006. I wasn't an issue Rovers fan. Like my granddad always asked me to go, but I never had any interest in going. I always used to go to the games down in UCD in Belfield, the old Belfield Stadium with me dad. I remember my first game, it was actually UCD and Shells and so on. Even after that, it was like, I think it was finished 6-0 Shells or whatever, but then I think it was a Shells Cork title race and whatnot, and I think we went down to a week later, we went down to Shells and Cork in Tolka again, sold out, and like that, these were the two teams in the league at the time, and I think the game finished 2-2 and whatnot. It was a cracking game. I'll never forget it. Then I think the year after 2008 was when Drogheda got into Europe. They played Dynamo Kiev.
Yeah.
And we went to the games there in Dalymount, and like that, massive following the games because a load of Ukrainians that were supporting Dynamo Kiev were there, and I remember the games well. They were very good to watch. And then eventually started going to the Rovers games and whatnot with the dad and my granddad. So
brilliant.
It's just great to get into it. Like I've told lads even when I was younger, and now they're it's probably a bit maturity, but now they're realising a lot more that it's more so about having a bit of crack going to the games and so on.
Yeah. So a great line I always think is I saw this somewhere. It's like, don't have your kids growing up thinking football is a TV show or something like that. Or John, like it's a great line, like because like something better than just like growing up and watching the matches on a Friday evening and leaving school buzzing for the game. And I always just remember playing on a Friday night and I couldn't wait for my own match in the next Saturday morning. I was like proper part of my weekend. Like it was always.
It's part of it. It's great because you just get a buzz. Like say even like. We played Bowes there on Friday. Like I'm 23. I'm working now, but you're still having that buzz and whatnot. You can't wait to go in, and you can't wait to the game and so on. Like even I know I wasn't in work, but where I'm working at the moment, there's a lot of Bowes fans there, so I had me topping all ready to throw on, and just get along me and then have a bit of crack with a lot of the students and whatnot. And you can, it's that
I
sort of
hope
thing
you're
you can
not.
have.
I hope you're not giving the students the abuse to give some Bulls fans.
Oh no, couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Could not do that. Nah, but those are all right. Definitely not.
Interesting talking point here, lads. Someone saying a third tier could make the league truly national, then it would be massive. And
Yeah,
Dale's
well,
also saying third tier help make the first division more interesting, with relegation for teams to avoid. I'll be back in 1 second, but that's an interesting one. Just for
well, there is a third tier coming in from next year, if I'm not wrong, off the
It's that
20.
relegation playoff thing, isn't it?
Which?
What is it? It's not actually a third tier, but it's like a new format of the league, isn't it?
No, it's a third tier, like LOI.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
off the
what?
FAI strategy document 2022-2025, their plan is to create a third tier League of Ireland. So if you have a few top teams from the Leinster Senior League or like Munster or Connacht being in it, we were joking how like Malahide United could have a good chance of being in it, winning the Leinster Senior League last year, and kind of the money that's in Malahide, you get someone to bankroll that. Robbie Keane or someone to bankroll that.
LOI TV making moves.
Yeah.
Coming into the league.
And there's a second tier women's national league coming in. They plan, I think it's next year, if I'm not wrong, as well. So that can only be a boost.
The women's
and it would
game
make
here
the-
is coming along so much.
isn't it?
So it is. It's absolutely it's getting so much bigger here. Like you're watching the games are on the stream every week now, and they're getting heavily profiled. They're using social media very well. Like my team would be DLR Waves. I know one of the girls that are on the team.
Did they play Belfield?
Yeah,
Where did
so
they
they're
play?
UCD. They're UCD essentially. Yeah, but like that, they play a good brand of football. They're They're getting people to the games and so on, and it's massive. It's massive for the community. Even like Shells, they're getting them. The Shells teams are getting massive crowds at their games every week and so on as well. So the whole league is coming along, just fine. Like it's great. So it is.
The first women's match I went to, I think last October, I think it was Peamount Cork, and I really enjoyed it. And like we've seen, just with there seems to be bigger buzz around the Republic of Ireland women's team than the men's team sometimes. Like we saw, I think they got a sold out crowd, if I'm not wrong, at Tallaght Stadium for one of the games, and then beaten, I think Georgia, it was like 11-0 or something like that. If I'm not mistaken. So under Vera Powell, like there's been a huge buzz around them. They have Sky behind them now. They have Cadbury's behind them, whereas the men's team are still looking for their sponsors. So
I think we should keep it that way, having no sponsor on the Irish
just
jersey.
for the jersey. I think they could do with a few bob though.
They could do with it, but like wait till after I get the jersey so I can have no sponsor.
Trick is to buy it before we get the sponsor.
That happened with Rovers a few years ago. They released the jersey, but they didn't have a sponsor yet. And they eventually put JD on it. So I sent my jersey to be printed with just Joey O'Brien in the back with no sponsor on it. I get the jersey back months later because of COVID. It has the bleeding JD sign on it. Jesus.
It was with the Chelsea this week. Three have pulled out of the sponsorship, but it's still on the jersey because they can't afford to buy like jerseys without the sponsor on it. I know this is a League of Ireland show, but I thought it was funny. Ross, we were just talking. What?
Chelsea can't. I don't quick, but Chelsea can't buy jerseys.
Afford to buy jerseys for the rest of the season without the sponsor on it. Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Anyway, Ross, we were saying there how just the growth of the women's game in Ireland, just with talking about the third tier League of Ireland division coming in next year, and the plan is for the FAI to create a second tier women's side for women's league from next year, which would be absolutely fantastic. And obviously, Shell's league winners last year, I might add.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just the growth of the women's game in general, especially with Vera Pauw's side as well, it's been great.
Yeah, no, it's been super. It's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. That's the thing as well. It's great to see kind of Shamrock Rovers don't have a women's team, do they? But like I imagine like they
No.
look to like create one in the future, and I think that's definitely the way it's going. And hopefully every League of Ireland side will have a women's team.
It'll make
in the next
Dan
few
Lambert
years.
happy after that tweet he put out a few months
Do
ago.
you remember that? Yeah, that was a bit mad. I'll tweet.
He's
like, yeah,
such a
just
weirdo.
Point scoring, like yeah.
He's such a bleeding weirdo. After that tweet they put out today, they're actually just being laughed at. So
That's one thing I don't really like about kind of the League of Ireland at times. I feel like sometimes, like I'm not sure if it's the admin or certain people in their social media, but it's very kind of point scoring at times. It's kind of unnecessary. Obviously, sometimes it's a bit of crack and it's a laugh, but sometimes it's like point scoring over kind of like certain subjects and stuff. It's a bit like grow up a little bit. Like you're kind of, I don't know. It's a bit immature.
I think that whole thing
Lambert
they
has been
tweeted
like that in the
earlier.
past as well.
I think that thing earlier, what Bowes tweeted. Yes, I know. Absolutely, like no one wants anything to do with that, but the fact they've tied themselves into that and tried to make a bit of a profile of it, it's just, yeah. Well, I don't agree with it at all.
I really enjoyed Shamrock Rovers posting a load of Andy Lyons pictures in the few days leading up to the Dublin Derby. That was great shit, Hauser.
Do you follow the
Rovers
Rovers
TikTok as well? Oh god, man, it's such shit. Henry, it's brilliant though. I do love it.
What was it a few months ago after the cup final? This is my neighbour. She is pain in my ass. So it was a picture of Tala, then a picture of Daily Man, but it was like a comparison from Bora, and it was like, what was it? I can afford a chair. She cannot afford it. It was just like Rovers win the league, and then Daily Mount just nothing in it. They were just
So
taking
funny.
the mick.
Yeah.
And then what was it when they announced Andy Lyons? The Bob Marley jersey got released the same day. So they just made a TikTok of Andy Lyons photos with three little birds over and over again.
So
It was so funny when he signed his first interview, I think, to one of the match programs. He's like, "Why did you sign for Rovers?" And he was like, "Oh, I just want like success, like that they have success to tell us." It was really funny. I thought,
Not lying. He's not lying.
it's like
the
Van Persie or something.
standards, just the
Rovers
first half.
TikTok that was brilliant. They just absolutely they were beefing Watford for a while. So
Were they? Yeah.
Yeah, they were beefing Watford.
It's so funny. Like.
They're trying to get they're trying to start scraps with Zenit St. Petersburg and Spartak Moscow and so on. And
Brilliant.
I
So
wouldn't mess with them at all.
Yes, be careful with
Not at
that.
the moment, no.
Graven says, all I want is a Kerry LOI team to support. Isn't it? I think the main team then there is Tralee Dynamos, if I'm not mistaken. Mental name, but I presume they'd be looking to get into that third tier as we were touching on earlier on there. How much, Ads, you probably know the question answers to this. How much is a season ticket for an LOI team? Do any of you know? For the champions, how much would it be?
For a normal adult season ticket for Rovers is €200. I think a student is €100. And they've done something this season now, which is great. If you're under 14, it's €25 for the whole season.
Class.
And
Brilliant.
That's unreal, isn't it?
That's where you're going to bring most of your fans in, the young people and so on. So that's great.
Yeah.
But it always has been affordable, even before those prices and so on. And it's absolutely great to see. I think other League of Ireland clubs are very similar in terms of the structure, prices, and whatnot. Even the membership, because membership now is becoming more popular within the clubs.
For example, I'll context this with there's nothing wrong or there's nothing bad about going over to a Premier League game or anything like that, or supporting a Premier League club or anything like that. But I went over to Chelsea two weeks ago, and it cost me the whole trip cost me the price of, I could have probably bought 2 student season tickets for the price it took me to get to one game with Chelsea. And I won't lie, obviously, Chelsea's my first club, and I do love working in the League of Ireland, but it just goes to show there's a lot of people who, and there's nothing wrong, people can do what they do, but it's just kind of facts that you could buy, I don't know, 20 season tickets instead of like going over for 5 or 6 games a year.
Yeah.
It's so affordable. Like, and
Yeah.
the other thing is that I said it before with the Ross is wearing the Shells jersey he bought a few weeks ago. Adzi in a Rose jersey there, and I have 2 Bowes jerseys bought recently. But like, you know where the money's going, and you know that the money's really
Dan Lambert's back pocket.
is needed, but there's just a difference between buying a League of Ireland jersey
He isn't all though. That's the thing.
When I buy a Chelsea jersey, like the club's worth like £3 billion. It's kind of it feels more authentic to the League of Ireland. Like, not anymore. We won't go there. We won't go there.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah.
Second half starting who now, Bose?
Yeah. What was I going to say there? Just touching on quickly. Sorry, yeah, just a quick one here. A comment. Really don't like there being 9 teams in the first division. My OCD goes into overdrive when I see the league table. It's actually like I do agree. Who was that dropped out again?
It is weird though. Limerick, wouldn't it?
Limerick, and then Treaty came in, and then
then Cabinteely finally.
Oh, that's what it is. So yeah, of course, Bray and Cabinteely, yeah.
Basically Cabinteely, or basically Bray.
Yeah.
I think though, especially in the likes of the Leinster Senior League and like the Munster Senior League teams are like going through there, like there is facilities for third tier. Sorry, like I play with Wayside at the moment, and the facilities they have up there, like no doubt, based on facilities alone, they'll be a third tier League of Ireland club because they have a savage pitch and they have plenty of space to put a stand there as well in the time being and so on, and you know they've good. The owner of the land there as well. It's no doubt he'll put more investment into it and put more money into developing a bigger car park for the club and so on, just in case they were called upon to be that third tier. So
look at Ballymun United have plans in place to build a stand, I think, and they've great facilities.
I remember that a while ago.
Savage facilities out there. I couldn't get over it. We played out there a couple of weeks ago, just out there by IKEA, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the pitches, the pitches out there, they're class. They probably do a better Astro for training on the likes, but you know their pitches are very good. They're well looked after, well maintained, and you know they're a very good club, good players, good teams, and so on. So absolutely give it a go. You know,
Dan Carr nearly in behind.
Ross, I was going to say, what are you looking for just in the first half there? We kind of went off on a few tangents. It started off kind of even enough, but for the last half an hour of the first half, it was just, I think Bowes had the ball every time I looked up. Like, what do Shells need to do just to get into the game here?
Yeah, it is a case of, I think, like Duff has Shells set up to be that kind of side that's going to kind of soak up the pressure, let them have the ball. In areas where they can't really hurt you. Like, you think of Bowes having the ball, but do they create a big chance, maybe 1 or 2 half chances, nothing major. I think at the moment Shells are against these types of sides going to be on the counter attack for the majority of the game and be looking to get opportunities when they can and just be defensively sound. And I think if you can get your defense sorted, you don't leak goals, I think then you can start focusing on the other end of the pitch. But if you can get that nailed down at the beginning of the season and then work your way up, I think if you can get your back line sorted out, and I think the 5 at the back is definitely trying to mirror Shamrock Rovers in a way and trying to potentially grow into that side who does then eventually play on the halfway line and then start playing from there. I think that's his ambition, but for now I think it is going to be a process of there will be some tough moments throughout the season and soaking up pressure and things like that and not having as much ball as we would like, but
it's going to take time for Shells.
There's a plan there. I think there's a plan in place.
Yeah.
Take time for Shells to give themselves an identity to play with. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I've already seen more identity from Duff than I did under Morris. I think in that Premier Division season, it was a little bit messy at times and kind of bringing in Gary Deegan to try and save us towards the end and stuff. It was a little bit messy, but I think under Duff there's a clear plan in place, clear player profile he likes. I think that's definitely more promising in terms of a long-term kind of sustainable future.
Gary Deegan is forever a meme now, actually. Sorry, just a quick one. He's such a meme now. And when he played for Cambridge, he did that. What was it?
Oh,
Thanks
stop.
again
Yeah.
for. Oh wait, Rovers are in. Manager
Thanks for
here.
the 3 points.
Good save for the keeper.
Is
Manager is on the right hand
that,
side.
is that Shepherd in goals for Dundalk, you know?
Yeah.
Class. That's 2 big
Yeah.
saints from there, he said.
Yeah, two good saves. James Berkey with a great ball. But yeah, he
3
made
0
that nil.
Sligo.
2-0
that up
Derry,
there or
there
at
it
home?
was.
Yeah. It's in Sligo, yeah. But
Oh,
Harps
3-0
are
Sligo,
struggling.
yeah.
That's Could this be the year Harps do kind of not finished like bottom, but not bottom 2, definitely. It looks like they're kind of
Possibly.
struggling anyway.
Was
Yeah.
that
I
2
hope not.
points?
2 points
From
from
the opening
5 if they
5,
only lose
yeah.
this. So
Harps are a great club. So
They are,
Is this the 5th game played or 6th?
This their fifth, I think.
This will be their
Is that-
5th, okay.
Yeah, I think they had one called off at the start of the season.
they always get a great crowd at their games as well, regardless of how they're doing. In
I
the
think their
league.
home form is what saves them, isn't it? Their home form is
Yeah.
usually very good. Shane
was
Farrell,
that?
is he on side? No.
What was
Even
that
Ollie-
promotion
go
they
on.
had with they were selling kid season tickets for a $5 or something, weren't they? Harps.
There might have been. I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
might have been,
yeah, they were. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, they always get great support.
They're
up
just a
there
great
in
club,
Turner.
you know.
Yeah.
The likes
Yeah.
of Ollie Horgan makes that club. What was it? He got
Did you
sent
hear
off
that?
against. Go
This
on.
is so good. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but on Twitter the other day I saw a thing. It was like he refused to do an interview after the game because managers don't get free subscriptions to LOI TV.
I saw that actually. Yeah.
What's Ollie Horgan thing ever? Like, so funny though.
I
true?
back.
Yeah,
I
apparently
wouldn't be
that's true.
surprised.
Jesus.
He refused to do an
Yeah.
interview because he doesn't get a free subscription to LOI TV.
Do you not remember he got sent off against? Well, he's gotten sent off against everyone at one stage, but he got sent off against. He got sent off against Pats, but they had to put him into the away end. But he's there having the crack with them, like they're all like going up and pulling his leg, and he's there going to really start on them, and like, oh, he messed on him, like just having the laugh, like.
Yeah, genuine bloke.
If he ever gets out of the league, that would be a sad day because he's so good to having it. He's a proper footballer man and so on, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think he has a contract for life there at Harps, whether they go up or down or whatever. So when he wants to leave, he'll leave, I think.
Rightly so. Like, I think, in fairness, if I think he goes, he's probably the heart and soul of the club as well. Like, if he, squared across there. If they ever went down and he left, I find that they'd have a very hard time to get back into it.
Yeah,
because people buy into him so much, and the lads he brings in, although they struggle, they clearly buy into him as well. So it's hard.
Like
it's hard to tell.
Kind of like a Burnley type thing, a Sean Dyche kind of thing, there, isn't it? A little bit similar to that kind of the comparison I'd think of.
Yeah,
similar.
Like you're not going to be any world beaters, but at the same time, you're giving back to the league in a sense and so on. So it's what the people seeing that is much more appreciated.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like Harps can go out and afford, a great, like a top class League of Ireland manager anyway, you know.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Hat trick for Aidan Keane. Did you mention that a few minutes ago?
I mentioned I didn't see the goal score.
Aidan Keane, a hat trick for him. Yeah.
He's Lewis Webb. I think
was there first. Was a screamer as well. If you want to get it on Twitter.
This Aidan Keane felt like could be the sign of the season. That's
how many goals did he now?
I think he played
6 or something.
3 today. 1 versus Drogheda. 1 versus Pats. 5.
5 or 6,
maybe?
yeah, something like that, yeah.
And Sligo.
I know because they missed it. 5. I think it's 5 and 5 games maybe because they missed their first.
And still unbeaten now. Absolutely fantastic. Jeez, why didn't he catch that there?
Lewis Webb, yeah, it's so
punch,
I don't know what he's doing there, like.
Yeah,
really shade. Like Brendan Clark on the bench, it really does. What point do you get with a keeper and you're like, the keeper on the bench is just better than him? Like,
I remember Rovers had that crisis a few years ago. We had Kevin Horgan, Tober Chentinski.
Oh Christ, yeah.
Playing for us now. In fairness, Tomer looked good at the start, like that. I always talk about having a player that can buy in and be a bit of a character and so on, and just a good person to have around the club.
Yeah. Aaron O'Driscoll
Tom
is
are
really well carrying it out. Sorry.
Tom are
So
kind
positive
of-
on
Tomer kind of had that with him, and so on. The fans loved him for it and everything, but he didn't really have that, ability.
Yeah.
It showed towards the end of his time at Rovers and so on. 2-0 Pats, by the way.
Yes, I saw that there. Yeah.
I don't know who the goal scorer was, but now he kind of had that dodgy patch towards the end of his time, and so did Kevin Horgan and whatnot. Oh, Rovers in again. Oh, fucking hit the bar.
Hit the bar.
Richie
Huge.
Towell.
Richie Towell, yeah.
Another good chance as well. So we did. He's actually doing all
Had
right.
a couple of chances now. Yeah. The ability's there, there's no question of that.
You can't do. Bad touch.
Mark Doyle with the goal for Pats.
Good spell for Rovers there. But what you call it? We had those two lads came in, and then it wasn't really working out, and then we'd already announced Manus that April that he was coming back, but it wasn't till July. Or
Bazuni was breaking through a little bit then as well around that period, was it?
Bazuni was warming up with the squad, so he was.
Yeah.
He was always in. Rovers tend to do that. They'd bring the third goalkeeper along tomorrow, but he's warming up a good bit, and I was kind of seeing at the time, all right, we're clearly going to try this goalkeeper because it's not working out.
There's half an
And
hour
then-
left in this. You can have it then.
I think we lost
I can't watch
5-2 or something to Dundalk or something, and then Bradley eventually just gave in.
Yeah,
Look, I'm going to bring Bazunio in, and then, as they say, the rest is history after that. He came in and then just completely settled us.
But outrageous. I don't say the penalty down in Cork. I remember that so well. So
It was mad because Manus. That was the first time Manus was in the squad. And fair enough, Bazunu he didn't have like any great performances, but you could tell he settled the ship. There was nowhere near as much mistakes. I think everyone else was pretty much relaxed with him and whatnot, and it was grand. So Bradley, I think at the time as well, Cork had just sold Sean Maguire. Was that it when they sold him? 2018.
That rings a bell. Yeah.
They just sold him. So and Cork were white hot. So they were.
To win the league and cup and all.
Had the league won at that stage and whatnot, and then what you call it? Bazunu comes in, and even before the penalty, he has a game, and like he's unreal. And then that save, obviously from Richie Sadlier, just kind of set him up for Europe and whatnot, and played well in Europe. And
Richie Sadlier.
did I say Richie Sadlier? Did he?
Yeah, Richie Sadlier.
Sorry.
No, I wouldn't let you out, but I just have to laugh.
Okay, Richie bleeds Sadlier.
What's his stat on RT against like a third and fourth place under 16?
Scored in the third and fourth place.
Yeah. So funny, like.
Oh, he takes that well. In fairness,
No, he does.
He gets the mick taken out of him all the time for that. He used to when I was in school, he went to the school I went to in Benildes, and he started coming back to the school doing a few fourth-year models and so on. But then after I left, he started coming to school quite regularly, maybe at least once a week. Or even, I think he actually might have worked in the school for maybe 3-4 days a week at a time, just doing like mental health modules and stuff like that, because that's his forte, and he was talking about that and whatnot. But everyone used to say that to him and whatnot, and he always found a way to make a laugh about it. So he's a bit of a character. Sound bloke. I always questioned his footballing knowledge when I was younger because he had this agenda against Rovers, but he's a sound bloke and knows what he's talking about.
Top lad. How long was gone in that Rovers game?
Half an hour. Rovers are on top. I think, Sean, when you just left there, Rovers hit the bar from Richie Towell and had her back in. Sean Hoare, chance? No.
I
Go on.
thought Jordan Flowers was screwed there. His knee. You always think the worst case scenario, but he's just up there after a minute or two. Hasn't been a great game.
No,
one or two
God, no.
half chances for Bows. Yeah, nothing.
I think
much
it
else.
suits Shells to keep it that way as long as possible, and then just nick a chance. That's the game plan, I think. And if you can get a point a day, I don't think it's bad as well for Shells at all.
Yeah,
Definitely
Great
take
tackle. Richie Tell's
Yeah.
having a very good game here. So he is.
maybe he was listening to us.
that. Yeah, big
He on the,
Cameron Eldridge, huge. He's come on because I remember watching him in the first game of the season, and I thought he was poor when he came on against Pats and maybe at 12 to go. Socky, you'll see it now in a second. Guides the ball out really, really well. And it was Shane Griffin who went off injured for us in the first game of the season, and Ledwidge came in and had a bit of a stinker, to be honest. But ever since then, he hasn't put a foot wrong in that back three, on the left side of that back three. And brought him in from Southampton. It's one of those players coming back from England. I think he's been in and around the Ireland under 21 setup as well. So obviously he has a lot of ability. Naturally a fullback as well, I think. And coming into that back three is definitely a challenge for him, but he seems to be adapting really, really well into that left-hand side. Free kick. Is that a penalty? Is it a penalty? No. Shell's players ran. Sean Boyd, he's run onto the pitch off the subs bench to protest with the ref for a penalty, and he's run towards the ref. The sub, you got to get a booking on the bench, Sean Boyd, for sprinting onto the pitch.
Is it a penalty, is it?
You're going a minute behind me here.
I'm a minute behind you.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it a penalty?
No, ahead. Sorry.
Ahead, sorry. Sean Boyd is just sprint onto the pitch towards the ref. So funny from the subs bench. Like.
How was Jordan McInnes playing for Shells?
He's got injured. He hasn't been able
to. Sean Boyd.
So funny, look.
Is he booking Sean Boyd?
Sean Boyd got booked.
Book Sean Boyd. That's brilliant.
So funny.
Loves the club. Loves it. Duffer love that.
Yeah. Is that a penalty?
Too weak.
That's a penalty. That's a stop.
Oh yeah, for me, yeah.
Oh my
God!
For me, yeah.
He's running like at this corner of the box, but he gets clipped inside the box, but runs outside, and they get the free kick instead of the penalty. But it's definitely inside the box.
Oh my God, that was definitely inside the box.
Definitely inside the box.
That is fucking
foul on Shane Farrell. Oh my God.
Linesman right beside it as well.
Shane Farrell looks like he's going to take the free kick himself, but
you'd be fucking sick. The Bows got away with him there.
No penalty.
Oh my God, that is a shocking decision.
Shane Farrell. Oh, O'Driscoll. Oh shit, it's a scramble. Oh.
Weird. A free kick for over there on the edge of the box.
That's a raised point and Bows back in the ball.
Berkey's having a go here. One thing I admire about Berkey, you have a go anywhere.
Like to say thanks to Ben De Silva for the 35 South African czar.
Thank you so much, Ben. I've no idea what that.
South African.
That's South African money, is it?
Oh, South African money, yeah. Mistake by Talbot. The mistake by Talbot there did not deal with that well at all. Great effort.
Bit of handbags here.
I'll never.
Talbot's a bit dodgy when there's a bit of a hectic crowd at games.
Yeah.
No,
Jackie, will he get back to England at any stage, do you reckon? Or?
I suppose that's what he's hoping.
Probably to carry Ed McGinty's bags to the airport and give him a lift. whatever ground he's going.
Give him a lift in the electric car.
I think Talbot he's a good keeper. He loves Bows as well. He seems to really love the club and stuff. But he's one of those players, generally with Mandrew and Lyons, you could maybe not Lyons as much, but Mandrew definitely could kind of see it happening and stuff going to Rovers. But I could never see Talbot go to Rovers.
I wouldn't want them.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it doesn't work for either party.
I think he does buy into Bows and he's great to have and so on. I think he did well last season to warrant his place into the Ireland squad. But this season he's gotten back to the old ways of being very dodgy and so on, and his handling wasn't great against Rovers the other night and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something to do with the crowd, because whenever there's a big crowd at a Rovers Bows game, he always just seems to crumble. And that's not me saying it. It's just going by what I see. I remember the cup semi-final. He really crumbled that time. First 5 minutes, there was plenty of balls going into the box, and he wasn't coming for them and whatnot, and he was fairly rattled. Even the second time in the Mount, I think the start of the 2020 season, he got a bit rattled as well, and then he was a bit rattled there on Friday. Like, I still do rate him as a goalkeeper, but I think he just needs to learn to try and calm down himself a little bit in order for him. If he wants that move to go back over to England or, further his career here, he'll need to try and relax in these situations and so on. And, I've known like that. I think he's by far top 3 goalkeeper in the league.
Free kick,
just needs to try and relax himself a few times.
Yeah, no, definitely. Free kick for Shells in a very good position here. Connor Kane took the ball off Chris Twardick, and Connor Kane, by the way, super footballer, smashing player in from Drogheda at left wing back, and won the free kick. It's a good position for Shells for 20 yards out.
Oh, so annoying. You're ahead of me.
25 minutes left, by the way, lads. If you could drop a like on the stream, 17 people watching, be really appreciate if you can hit around that 50 like mark. That'd be superb. Really do appreciate it if you can drop a like on the stream, and do subscribe if you're new around here as well. Much appreciated. But yeah, back to the football.
Shells kind of in the ascendancy here the last 5 months.
Second half, definitely on top, you could say. 2-0 there against Drogheda.
Have a look at any other scores. Yeah. Dundalk Rovers 0-0. Sligo Finn Harps game over 3-0 up. Sligo are, and then 2-0 Pats. I think my predictions are solid enough here. I think I went for a draw on this
English
one.
Legend. Hope he has a solid season this year. PJ Venom. Appreciate you tuning in, PJ. Shane Farrell hits the wall with his free kick.
No changes for Rovers, yeah. For either side, actually, I don't think. I think there's a change going up there now.
Yeah, no changes here, but I'd imagine 20 minutes to go. You're getting Sean Boyd on.
Brian Green.
Sean Boyd on a yellow already coming on, though. If he does come on, it's not ideal. Like,
that has to be a first, like a sub coming on.
It's happened before. It's definitely happened before.
Really?
Yeah, it's happened a good bit, I think.
So there's no player. Did
Shane
that happen
Farrell?
in a Portsmouth game a few years ago? A fellow was booked for giving tactics to his player,
I would be surprised.
And then he got sent off later in the game for a second yellow.
Shell's on top here. Shane Farrell. Oh, sorry. Shell's definitely on top here second half. 100%. You know, that does ring a bell, actually.
Are you playing into the schoolboy end or the...
We're playing into the end with no fans in it. Because our fans brought home one of the goals, and then the other end there's no one in it.
We never get
Stephen.
that.
Oh, Liam Burt entering the fray, I think.
Very good play by who's Dan Carr.
Jordan Doherty making way, so that's kind of a player dropping out of the double pivot. Jordan Flowers will drop back
Good
in.
tackle, Andy Lawrence.
Liam Burke go on to one of the flanks, and Ali Coote go through the centre. I kind of misunderestimated Bose's kind of strength in that area of the pitch. They're definitely a strong kind of tree behind the strikers, very, very strong. Like they've good strength and depth there. Would you take any of them at Rovers? Your Ali Cootes, your Liam Burts, your Stephen Mallons, any of them, Adzi?
Stephen Mallon was very good the other night.
Yeah.
He was the only one that showed a bit of
if he can stay fit, I think staying fit's his issue. If he can stay fit, I think he's a very good player.
Most of last season.
Yeah.
Stephen Mallon was very good.
Because he's not starting tonight, so it kind of shows he's not able to put those games together like with his fitness or whatever.
Well, not yet. You know what I mean? It'll be another while before he's able to get that. At the moment, no.
Liam Burt, impressed with him. Ali Coote.
They're more wingers, though, aren't they?
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Like I don't think that necessarily fit. I know Ali Coote plays sometimes as a 10. When Flores isn't playing. But I wouldn't take any of them at the moment, sorry.
No, yeah, fair.
Fair enough, like it's just because we've too many players. That that's the thing. Like, I know I was brought up the other night by Dawson Devoy. Would I take him?
I think you're mad saying you wouldn't take him now, to be honest. As an option there.
I'd take him as if he's an option, if he's there, but like I wouldn't play him ahead of Dylan Watts. I think Dylan Watts is so underrated and underappreciated.
Yeah, no, it's very free kick for Chelsea, is it? Yeah. Good area
Not saying
again.
Dawson Devoy's a bad player. I think like that he's a cracking player, and he's very good, and you know he's on. I think he's on a good. He's the highest paid player at Bowes anyway, and he deserves that. I think he's cracking, but he just.
Yeah.
I think Dylan Watts has just gone so under the radar, and he's so underappreciated. I don't think people realise
him for
how
Bowes as
good
well.
he
He was getting raved about at Bowes, like
Dylan Watts.
Yeah, he was on loan at Bowes.
We played Bowes. I think they beat us in the 98th minute or something, and he ran the show against us. Yeah, he ran the show against us that night. He couldn't get the ball off him, but like that.
You got that match, were you?
I was, yeah. That was heartbreaking.
Oh,
Shells chance.
Close, Shells. Good free kick area, but it was cleared.
But like Dylan, I think Dylan Watts is so underappreciated and so on.
No, 100%.
I couldn't leave him out of Rovers at the moment as well. He has been, especially
Him and
last
a good
season.
relationship.
Yeah. He took over that role from McAneff, which was absolutely void. That was losing McAneff was, you can nearly argue, was probably a bigger loss than Jack Byrne.
Yeah.
In terms of what obviously Jack has that quality, but McAneff kind of ran things through the middle. The ball doesn't get to Jack unless McAneff's on it. You know, that sort of thing. And Dylan Watts, in fairness to him, filled that role.
Would you take McAneff back if he became available?
Yeah. Like, would I take him ahead? Like, if I was given the choice, of Dawson Devoy or McAneff, I'd take McAneff. Because McAneff, like that at Rovers, was class. I think his stats for running in games and so on was...
His goal scoring, he scored a good few, like double figures and stuff from that deep role as well. Like,
He brought a bit of everything. Could score, could score tap-ins, could score penalties, could score long rangers, score belters all the time, as they sang, but I want to take him back. I know a lot of Rovers fans wouldn't really take him back because of the whole Hearts thing, and they reckon he kind of sold us out a little bit.
Okay.
Especially because Hearts at the time were in Division 1 in Scotland. You know, I'd argue and say the League of Ireland is better than Division 1 in Scotland. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think he hasn't got on that well over there, really, has he? I don't think he
scored the other night.
He scored the other night, yeah.
But like,
he was injured for a long while, wasn't he?
Hadn't heard anything about him. Like,
I don't know about injuries or anything, but I know he hasn't been playing consistently. He's not a consistent starter or even a rotation player into the team, by the looks of it.
Which is a shame. He never got into the Ireland squad. Was it Jack Byrne, McAnuff, and Burke all got into like his provisional squad? Or something. I remember as a photo of the three of them.
Yeah.
So the friendlies, the New Zealand or Bulgaria or something like that.
Yeah.
There was a few friendlies, wasn't he? Empty grounds.
Byrne made his Ireland debut versus New Zealand, didn't he?
That's a pub quiz question.
was it? No,
I have way too much spare time.
It was. It was Bulgaria when we beat them 3-1
in the summer.
Oh, what a save! Shepard pulled off an absolute worldie from a greater header.
It's the third now.
That was an incredible save.
3 huge saves,
3 massive saves. I thought that was in. That was a fair play keeper. That is because Cross came in. Oof. And hold on, here we go again. Caught her out on the right. Whips it in, great ball in, Green on his own. Oh, that's a great save. Green heads it down, heads it away from the goalkeeper, doesn't head it back, and it bounces right up, and he gets a great hand to it.
Did Cotter start tonight, did he?
Yeah, start out on the right.
On the right, yeah. Sean Boyd about to enter the fray here. That's last 17, 18 minutes.
Ross, what's the crack with him now? Is it just like was he? Oh, the Bowes free kick that
Rory Gaffney coming on for Burke as well.
What's the crack with Sean Boyd? Is he come back from injury, or he's just work like trying to get a start and place in the team at the moment?
No, I think him and Dan Kerr is, as far as I know, it's kind of a rotated between the two,
Okay.
and
Okay,
suppose
yeah.
with games, a couple of
come off
days
the bench.
proximity.
Yeah, came off
Having
bench on
that fresh-
Friday, didn't he?
Did he come off the bench on Friday as well? Yeah. Farrell, Sean Boyd, it's one straight away. Yes.
Sean Boyd, was it?
Sean Boyd, straight away.
Fuck
What a
off!
player.
Yes.
Is that his first touch, is it?
Oh my god.
He's just coming on to the pitch now
Just
on
off
my
the
telly.
bench. Just off the bench. Oh my god. What a finish. Oh, he's about in front of the. Oh my god. First touch for Sean Boyd.
Down in front of the
Hey,
post.
kick out,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
kick out, down the left wing,
Oh, Shane Farrell.
ball squared. Oh wow!
Oh
It's
my
not a goal, is
god.
it?
What a finish.
Oh, Gatty's in here for Rovers too.
What a finish!
Oh, get in.
Who was marking Sean Boyd?
Sean Boyd has a banger in him.
His first touch. Wow,
Oh,
that must
is
have literally like 20 seconons after come on. Last season,
literally outrageous. Like straight away, like, oh my god.
Talbot's giving out muck.
Someone got a
What's
book in
he
there.
giving
Yeah.
out for?
Oh, that is huge.
Rory
That is huge.
Feely. He was giving out to
Bows
Rory
in the
Feely
mud.
there.
Bows in the mud.
Squeezes in
Imagine
between Rory Feely and it might have been Kieran Kelly. Lovely left-footed finish into the bottom right corner.
lads.
Talbot's come about 30 yards off his line to give out to
But
his
it
back line.
sounds of it. But it sounds you as well deserved.
Yeah, no, they were. Been the better side the second half. I had the better chances. Dan Kerr had a good effort a few minutes ago, and then
Oh, what a
obviously
save,
with
Leon! Oh, great save from Leon Powell again.
Oh, lads. That is
What a goal.
outrageous. That is outrageous. What a finish. Such a on his left peg, straight off first time, like first touch of the game. What a beautiful individual.
You'd
Oh,
love
what
for
a
him
save,
to.
Leon.
You always see that, like he's like, as you probably noticed at his time at Rovers, he has that potential. If he can get a good run of games together, like he has the ability there, doesn't he?
He has the quality in him.
Yeah.
He's like that.
Remember that goal against Bow? He loves the goal against Bow. Remember that cracker he scored against Bows for
The
Rovers?
1-2 and the 1-2 it flicked up, and then he
outrageous.
just volleyed it.
Outrageous.
Yeah, I remember that. He's I think I said it the other night. I never doubt his ability. I just doubt his work ethic. You know, he's not the player.
I think
I
under
want,
Duff,
like-
I think under Duff, he seems very, very motivated. He seems really, really motivated.
Ah, yeah. Well, there was a stage there in his career where Sean Boyd he hadn't a club. He hadn't a club, and he was trialing for the PFAI thing, and you know, having a few coaches come to try and sign him and whatnot. But that's when he did
he do his ACL or something?
Yeah, that's when he did it.
Then Harp snapped him up.
Harp snapped up. He got a few goals there.
Harps, yeah.
Oh, he scored a cracking goal. I remember I said he was against Dundalk.
I think he got 8 goals last season, which is solid enough. Like considering he was with like up against Tunde and up against Adam Doyle and stuff, or Adam Foley even for game time.
Just considering he wasn't fit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd love for him to get a good run of games here this season, especially after the injury trouble he had. Like that. I think it was it a Satanta Sports, the Air Sport documentary? It was like in front of doing the ACL in front of the TV cameras. It was one of the toughest things I've ever seen. And you'd love for him to get because as you said, Adam, the ability's there, and he'll always pop up with like a screamer or two. But just the run of like if he could have half the season Georgia Kelly had last year or something like that.
You need to run a games and trying to stay healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm just looking at Twitter here. Conan Burns saying that Shales were denied a definite penalty as well earlier on for that Farrell takedown. Do you remember the one that was giving us a free kick?
Yeah, 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, definitely in the box as well. So no more than Shales deserve for the second half so far. And as I said, Soccer, like it's best to soak up that pressure and then kind of taking opportunities and stuff as well. And it's a corner here for Bowes. Jordan Flowers set to take, but 12 minutes to go.
Where did Jordan Flowers come from? Did he come from Wigan? Did he come straight from Wigan to Bowes?
No, he's had a mental career. I'm a Wigan fan, so I
Because
know
he went back to
he's been in
Wigan
Norway
from
and stuff.
Dundalk, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to Norway on loan. He went to Notts County, like he went to loads of League Two teams on loan and stuff. Then he went to Dundalk, and then he went to Hull.
He went to League One. He went back to League One.
Yeah, went to Hull City, and then
okay.
Hull got promoted, and he couldn't really get into the team when they got into the championship. So I think he went to Bradford on loan. Didn't really work out from there, and then ended up at Bowes this season. Like he's a very, very good player, but I don't know if he's because I don't think you don't know. You see all his highlight reels, brilliant for Dundalk, all the goals, but I don't think he really started many. Like he wasn't a guaranteed start. He didn't start week in week out for them. Like,
But
he's
remember
a
him
good
starting
player.
that much. He's
Yeah.
quality. So
Lovely left peg.
That goal he scored against us was
Outrageous.
probably one of the greatest goals I've ever seen live.
Jordan McAniff coming on now for Shells.
Was it? Yeah.
I had the perfect angle for that goal as well. I remember I was literally right behind it, and it just went in. You're kind of like, what do you do there? Like, you know what I mean?
Ross, do Shells play more of a 3-4-3?
If you want to look at it from that way, it is probably more of a 5-2-3 kind of thing.
5-2-2. So there's one like it's either Sean Boyd or Dan Carr in the 9.
They're kind of the target man.
Yeah,
and then you'd have
McManus,
Moylan ideally off them, two of them kind of often playing off them, and then you'd have your Mark Coyle and A. Dervin in the 2 midfield, and then J.R. Wilson, who we saw at the St. Talk Park event, actually, his son was on the right, and Connor Kane on the left, and then the back 3. So it's kind of, if we have the ball, we're in possession, it's kind of a 3-4-3, and if we're sitting back and sucking with pressure, it's kind of a 5-2-3 kind of thing.
Yeah, 5-4-1, hopefully, like, who's down there? Looks in a lot of pain.
He's okay.
3-2. I was okay. He's okay by your screen.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like, I've even seen it at Chelsea too. If there's only one space for that kind of lone striker, the number 9, like it's whoever's in form. And if Sean Boyd scored, and more often than not,
2-2.
Manju with an incredible strike. Jesus, just right into the hands of him. I decided that was in.
It looked clinical, didn't it, as well? Like, literally, the first chance buries it. Like, it was a clinical
Adam,
finish.
have Rovers deserved a goal in the second half? Or the better team? Yeah.
Better team. I think, I wouldn't say better team, but we definitely deserved a goal. Dundalk have had their chances as well, in fairness. So, it could very well, it's very well an even game. I think Rovers has had slightly the better chances, all right, but
Rob's
great saves by goalkeepers.
Rob's at it.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man. I saw him at Pats there the other week.
Oh yeah.
So I did. Yeah. I was chatting to him for a bit, and he went out to get his chipper.
Yeah. That was a really good game. It was Pat's first win against Rovers for like 4 years or something.
It's their first win against
league
Rovers in Pats in Chicago since May 2018.
Yeah, that's right.
Some mad stat like that.
Yeah.
So it was. A free kick here, Manju over it. Whipped in. Head it back. Oh no. Sean, no, you're not scoring from there. Sean Horn trying to volley it and just guess where it went.
If the likes of Mandrew, maybe not Burke, but definitely Byrne and Mandrew, if they get a good run of games going from now until May, could you see them being included for Ireland in June?
Who was it? Mandrew, Byrne, and Burke?
Not so much Burke, mainly Byrne and Mandrew, I'd say.
I think there's a few players that once they get a good run of form, especially the young players, who could be in for a show.
Yeah.
Like that, if Andy Lyons maybe finds a bit of form and stuff, he could be winning the show. I think the most likely ones, yes, you're right, are probably Andrew and Byrne, just on their age. But like that, Jack taking off there again, another big game tonight. You know, I don't think he was particularly great against Bows and so on. He was subpar in the second half against Pats and so on. He wasn't the best.
Just crossed my mind when I was watching Pats Rovers. Like, I think Byrne and Mandrew were much better in the first half, as were most of the Rovers team, to be fair. But Stephen Kenny was sitting beside me in the press box, and Ross was just asking there, next Friday's squad announcement would be too early for the League of Ireland players, but looking ahead to the June games, I was asking Adam there, could he see a Mandrew or Byrne being included, maybe even Andy Lyons if they get a good next 2 or 3 months of games under their belt.
I think it's unlikely, to be honest. I think it's unlikely. Put Jack Byrne's probably your best bet if he gets one of the games going. I don't really see Andy Lyons, Danny Mandrew having a case, really. Andy Lyons, look, you can't begin to compare him to a Festi Edisele at Derby, the things he's doing in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make a case. Connor Kane, free kick? No. I just think, like, if there's players that are kind of coming through that are looking really, really promising, like even Connor Coventry, MK Dons is doing brilliant things at the moment as well, and it's a lot of competition in those kind of areas of the pitches and stuff. So it'd be interesting. And if Andy Lyons is playing in that left wing back role consistently, maybe in that regard he might have a shout. And the Stevens on the way out, McLean's not getting any younger, potentially there. But
I think if there's a time to bring more League of Ireland lads in is this year, because like that, it's not a World Cup year or a qualifying year.
No, I'd agree. I'd agree. I don't see there being a huge point in playing.
The only
bringing in a Shane Long or a Jeff Henry.
I'd
give it to
agree.
The younger lads, like.
But the only caveat I'd say is that on Thursday, Stephen Kenny said that he's finished experimenting and he's settled mostly on his squad now. That doesn't rule 1 or 2 League of Ireland players hopefully being called up, but like, we only have games in June and then I think 2 friendlies in November, so like there's not much. I know there's no qualifiers this year, but there's not much opportunity for a lot of League of Ireland players to come in. So I think if it's not like by November, he'd be looking at the qualifiers then the following March. So if it's not June, I doubt. And then you'd look again if Mandrew and Byrne are the League of Ireland's best bets. Like, I can't think of too many from your Pats or your Bows that will get a look in.
For fuck's sake. 1-0. 1-1. Shy card as well. A bit of a scrap in the net. Getting the ball back.
From the corner.
Yeah. Crap goal as well. It's a really, really disappointing goal to concede, to be honest.
5 minutes from time.
Did the posted man sent off here?
No.
It says the red card above Bows on my screen here, I think. Apparently they got some sent off in the 76th minute.
What?
Apparently. Ireland just missed the header and it's just smashed in. Really disappointing goal to see.
On live score.
A Marco coming on for Mandrew anyway. You did say you take a draw, Ross, so you can't really complain.
I did. It's always just disappointing when you get in front, though, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? How's that a free out referee?
Yeah, there's nothing on Bow's Twitter about
Cassidy on for Dawson Devoy. Yeah, same here.
Now it's just a case of don't concede another for Shells. I don't know if we're playing as 10 or 11 men here, though, to be honest. Much better second half than first, anyway.
Don't know what Rovers here. If we should rest on our laurels or try to go for it, because we've had a lot of chance in this one.
Adam Tweeter saying a lot of people saying Rory Gaffney should have been sent off.
I don't think so. I didn't see that. Because they've come together with the with a centre half, but I wouldn't say he's centre off.
Shelbourne
2
tweeted
minutes
out
on.
Boyd with his first touch to goal, and they said we think Bows are down to 10 men as well, but no update after that. So they must be, but
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Sean
10.
Boyd, header across the corner for Shells.
Winner now would be something alright.
I think even looking at the display tonight, though, looking at Pats coming here and losing, the fact we're coming here and being on top this whole second half and deserving the win, I think, in my opinion, shows that I don't think we'll be, hopefully not in that mini league at the bottom of the table for that playoff spot.
Yeah,
I'd like
be
to think
encouraging,
this
as you
team is
said.
starting to gel together. Like it looks to be turn into something special. Like or not
As you
special,
said,
but turn
just
into
keep it. That was very good by Sean Boyd. As you said, just starting with defense. As long as you're not leaking goals
Yeah.
every week, you have something to build off then. And
exactly.
a point against last year's cup finalists, decent enough result, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, the game's not over, but obviously you'd be disappointed to concede the goal. But their second half display has been much, much better.
100%. 100%.
And obviously, he'll probably have a lot to say about that penalty.
Definitely. Sean Boyd acting the mag at the top. Yeah, 4 minutes at a time. Finn Harp's consolation goal against Sligo. It's annoying because surely Bow's out down to 10 men, but there's no word of it like officially online. Like,
I'll check our friends over on Extra Time, see if they've.
Yeah, that'd be great actually.
Bring them down, bring them down, bring them down, bring them down.
Hoop to clear.
Oh.
Soccer salesman.
Ruben with a sitter.
He missed it.
10 yards out, blazed over the bar, and it was square to him. Just
huge
him
chance.
Who?
Pat Hoban.
Pat Hoban. Oh, he that's him. He needs. Oh, Ferrucci's in the squad. Didn't see Ferrucci.
That's a good sign. Actually, that's a good sign.
That's a great sign, actually. Yeah.
He's been so unlucky.
It's terribly unlucky. He has. He's
in swinger towards Boyd at the back stick.
He got out to a good start for us this season. But
Sean Boyd tries assist and distance. It's
the first division
donation from Sam. It's a Sam Green, is it? Buy yourself a jelly mix there, so.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it. Legend. Bray 2-1 up against Longford. Galway 2-1 up against Treaty. Cork 2-0 up against Waterford.
There you go. Full time at Rovers anyway, finishing it up.
Not disastrous. 1-0 last minute winner
for
Dundalk would have been a bit of a killer.
Yeah. That's not too bad. Obviously,
fair. If you had offered you 4 points from Bows and Dundalk in the space of 4 days, Bows at home, Dundalk away, you would probably take it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
Those 2 games.
I'll take it now that the match is ending, but
that's
it. Played well. Played a lot better in the second half than we have in previous games. We didn't seem to die on. We actually seemed to kick on a bit in the second half, which is much more encouraging to see rather than die off and let teams get on top of us, because that's when you're most likely to concede. But
100%.
I'd be happy enough with the performance.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A minute and a half left here. Bows launching the ball forward. Jerry Wilson heads clear, and A. Dervin heads another one onto it. Oh, it's a good challenge on Tyreek Wilson. Lofted forward towards Boyd. That leaves it for. There's actually not going to be late drama here. McManus. Connor Kane on the outside of him. This is disappointing.
3,000 at the Cork game and 3,500 at Oriel. It's brilliant, isn't it?
That's great.
For Monday night, that is class.
Yeah. Just trying to see if there's anything with that red card. Nothing yet.
Did you tell hitting the bar? Yeah, Jesus.
5 draws and 6 for Dundalk. Is that right? Jesus Christ, is that right? Jesus. Mental. Looks like Flores is taking the free kick here for Bowes in a deep position, launching it forward.
Yeah, no red card on extra time, so.
So weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't I haven't noticed anyone sent off, but Flores hooks it into the box towards Promise. O'Driscoll in a bit of a wrestling match with Promise here. Shells can clear. Tyreek throws it back to Kieran Kelly. This could be the last chance for the game, and it's hooked into the box from Bowes. And out for a goal kick, and that could just do it. That might just be it.
You happy with that, Ross?
Had offered that to me before the game. 100% would have taken it. It's just a little bit disappointing in terms of the manner we conceded, and the second half performance we put in. I don't think we deserve to concede there either. Crappy goal to concede.
I see why people are questioning about that sending off for Gaffney.
Shocking.
Kind of swung around and gave an elbow to your man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Timber is it? Good tackle. We're at 95 now, and that's full time at Dalymount Park. And Shell's players all have their heads in their hands and looked very, very disappointed. And that kind of tells you all you need to know, really, about the game.
Yeah, Ross is supposed disappointed to concede late on, but you'd probably take a point. I'm sure Damien Duff will have his words about that penalty decision, but Bo's much better in the first half. Shell's much better in the second half. I think the 0.11 is fair enough.
Yeah. Possibly. I think we were better in the second half than they were in the first half. Possibly can make a case for that as well, and possibly have more opportunities. And the fact we had a really, really strong case for a penalty turned down there, which is hard to take, and we created a great goal, great opportunity for that goal as well. Disappointing. And then the goal you can see from a corner as well. It's a scrappy goal. It's a super. Just look at the replay here from Sean Boyd. Super goal, super finish.
He's running level.
Can't help but feel disappointed. I feel like Shelbourne are a big club as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I suppose you have to kind of weigh it up in terms of a newly promoted side, but being a big club at the same time. And
these aren't the big club though. Remember, apparently the big
biggest
club is apparently the biggest club thing is you bought a cup final here and there and so on, but whatever. I'm gonna use this far too much, so cut me off when I just can.
Just looking at the table there, Derry winning 2-0 against Drogheda as well. So Sligo and Derry, the only two unbeaten sides left in the league. Pat's top of the league by a point. Sligo and Derry both have a game in hand on them though, and could go top themselves next Friday. It's worth noting too that there's no League of Ireland games Friday week. I think it's the 19th, if I'm not wrong, because there's an international break.
I don't think Rams have a game for 4 weeks. They don't have a home game for 4 weeks.
Home game 4 weeks? That's mad.
Yeah.
Shell's level on points with Bows on 6 in 6 and 7 place. Dundalk with 1 win and 5 draws. Oh, sorry, Dundalk is still unbeaten in the league. So there's 3 teams
5 draws
unbeaten with the league. And then you have a UCD with 2 points from their open 5 games, stuck at the bottom of the table with Finn Harp. So probably league table is probably looking as expected at the top of the year, but just the big surprise so far, I think, is Sligo.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely, I think Shell's being in 7th is where you'd expect them to be, kind of thing, isn't it? The promoted side, and have that bit of a cushion from the bottom 3 as well. Now a couple of them have games in hands and stuff as well, but having that little bit of a cushion is nice. But you just we're level on points with Bows as well. At the moment, which is definitely a good sign. But yeah, it is definitely a sickening blow. I felt we deserved to win that one. It's a bit gutting. I can't lie to you, lads. I'm a bit gutted with that. Liam asking him, "Am I disappointed?" And that's as I need to know. He's sitting in the home end for that match, and he's asking if I'm disappointed as well. Second half, I thought we were definitely on top, 100%. And the goal you can see it was poor. From what you never like to see from corners and set pieces and stuff. So, yeah, definitely a disappointing one. But if you had asked me before the game for taking the points, would have taken. Slightly disappointed. Pointing from Shamrock Rovers was still a great stream. Cheers, ads. Nice one, Ben. Appreciate it. Disappointing, Adzi, would you agree with that?
I wouldn't say it. Like, disappointing in terms of probably could have nicked it in the second half, but in terms of performance, no, not at all. I thought we performed very well. Created a good few chances. Just the keeper was very good. Just disappointed with the result. Probably could have nicked something, but yeah, that's it. I wouldn't say anything more than that.
Yeah, fair. Hi, I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm a big fan for Bohemian FC. I want to watching matches. Bohemian FC. Where can I watch? Please answer. The match is over, buddy. Number one. So fair play to you. Do subscribe, buddy, as well. Thanks, mate.
Nice.
PJ Venom, good report, the good lads. Have a good night. Thanks, million. Thanks for tuning in, lads. Really appreciate it, guys. If you can drop a like actually on the stream, guys, while we're at it, 18 people here, it'd be much appreciated. If you can drop a like on the stream, it'd be fantastic. And do subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Much appreciated. But we'll quickly go around the grounds. Obviously, we've touched on the Shells Bows game and the Rovers and Dock game as well. Derry City with a 2-0 win over Drogheda. For Derry, just tipping away, and they're looking quite good, aren't they?
Yeah, obviously with that new financial backing behind them, they probably everyone be kind of expected them to be up the top end of the table now with 5-6 games played, 3 wins, 2 draws, and yeah, things seem to be going well for them. You'd expect them to stay there for most of the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. We also have Sligo Rovers beating Finn Harps 3-1. Only kind of touched on that for Sligo. Very, very significant victory for them. And obviously that's a bit of a derby there as well, so it's great for them to get the 3 points on the board. But for Finn Harps, that's what 2 points from 5 games. It could be a struggle for them this year.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a struggle with Harps and so on. I think Ollie Horgan he's nearly on a record of saying that he's happy with finishing in around the bottom anyway, just keeping the lads up, given the resources they have. But like that we said earlier, it could be a sense that his time now is ticking and they could be in trouble this year. There's only so much surviving you can do before eventually go down, because you get hungrier teams coming up trying to battle for you in the playoffs, and then even hungrier teams just trying to stay up and so on. So he's just going to have to rely on the players buying in and, really winning the die for the jersey and stuff again, all that sort of characteristics for him. But it's not looking good so far.
And finally, we kind of questioned St. Pat's and their consistency maybe after beating Shamrock Rovers. It was kind of 2 wins, 2 losses, kind of trying to build that consistency. Now it's 3 wins on the bounce for them. That Rovers win, beating Harps, now beating UCD. I know beating Harps and UCD is probably what you'd expect from them, but getting 3 wins on the bounce is definitely a good sign for them. And Tim Clancy seems to be getting things right there now at the moment.
Yeah, they seem to be flying at the moment. Them and Sligo have surprised me this season. Of course, you've Owen Doyle back there now, new goalkeeper, and Anang, who has had 1 or 2 scary moments, but he's been solid enough so far. Adam O'Reilly there now as well. I've seen them twice live this season, and they've impressed me, beating Rovers, and they were lucky to lose to Sligo the week before. So Tim Clancy seems to be the really good group of players there, and I'd definitely expect them to be in the European spots for the end of the season.
100%. Would you agree, Adzi? Are you seeing Pat as a big threat this year?
Once they get a bit of consistency going, absolutely. They have the squad for it. Forrester can definitely lead into a title charge. He brings that experience. He has that quality. He probably is one of the best players in the league at the moment. Probably is the best player in the league at the moment. Just a matter of getting matches on their belt like that, dispatching of UCD like they did tonight. You have to be dispatching of them fairly easy and fairly comfortably, because UCD are, again, I think we mentioned, they are the type of team that will nick points off just here and there. So they definitely will be up there. Like same with 3 or 4 of us. There's going to be 3 or 4 of us up there. Constantly competing. I think the fact that Pats have won something as well might give them that edge against other teams, and they could be a lot closer to, say, what I'm predicting. Like, we'll probably be leading the charge at one point, especially down the stretch, and I think Pats will be fairly close to us, and then we'll taper off and seeing the likes of Derry and whoever else may be up there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lads, great stream. Really enjoyed it, I have to say.
Before we finish, I just want to draw people's attention to at the Lone, Cove Ramblers. Cove equalised in the 91st minute through O'Connell, made it 2-2. And then in the 94th minute, Cove won it through Whitmarsh. So 2 goals in the final 4 minutes there, winning it for Cove. And yeah, and the 3,000 at Cork of Waterford too. So sold out. Daily amount 3,500 at Oriel tonight too. That's all the attendances I got so far. But keep it up, people.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Superb to see. Absolutely. If you could drop a like on the stream if you did enjoy it, it would be greatly appreciated. And if you can subscribe if you're new around here as well, it'd be fantastic. We'll be back with Cautiously Optimistic, our weekly live show on Wednesday evening. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But guys, thanks a million for tuning in. Socko, Adzi, an absolute pleasure as always.
Cheers, boys.
Thank you very much.
Go on. Talk to you in a bit.